Alright.
And I think you can hear us now.
Test, test, test. Can you all hear us now?
Probably
Hopefully
too
you
loud.
can.
Let me set that down just a little bit. Hopefully. Can you draw us a picture? It'll be Pictionary. We just need a big whiteboard behind us.
Big whiteboard.
Yes.
Hello everyone. Do we have sound now?
Alright, yeah, let us know.
Yep, let us know if we have sound.
Looks like we're good. I guess, yeah, we overlooked that little bit there.
We did.
Okay.
I think we did, hopefully.
Okay, want to redo our intro?
Somebody says check.
Check.
Oh. Yes, much better. Yes, it's working. Good, 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 good. Okay, so I'll go back over to our intro again. Hello, everyone. We are live on this lovely Memorial Day. This is a Monday. This is our Monday Night Business live stream. It's our Q&A where you can get all your business questions asked.
Yep.
And when we're not having audio or video issues,
you can hear us.
Yeah, you can hear us and we can actually say hi and, you know, get on there. So anyway, so before we get started, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of the veterans out there, and both past and present military would like to take and just say thank you for your service to this great country, and everybody to give them a round of applause in the comment section as well. All right, good. Well, there was the intro.
Yes,
and now you guys can hear us. Yep. So hello everyone. So we think we got the CPU thing figured out. Basically what was happening, we believe, fingers crossed, is the computer was crashing because we were pegging out the CPU usage on it. Even though this being a new computer, we were running too much with the settings the way it was set up.
Yep.
So Jessica did a lot of head scratching over a few days, and hopefully we've got this all figured out now.
Yeah, I hope so. Yep. It kept on giving us this code that had to do with the video input, and like we said, like just changing some stuff about the CPU, I think took care of it. So we will find out for sure this live stream.
Exactly. So hello, hello. Okay, so Jacob said, "Hey, I'm not deaf." Subtitles, there you go.
Subtitles, like just type it out.
Yeah. So I want to say hello to everybody. Corey Shire, Jacob THT, good to have you here. Coffee's Forge, hello, good to have you in the house. Bruce Schmidt, Yo Kurtz, Silly Up,
or Paul Ellis.
Paul Ellis, let's go with that one. Energy Management, I know that one. Hello to you, happy Monday. And Susan Ellis, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good to have you in the house. All of you. So, and I think I saw Birdman Bill up there a few chats ago, but he had some questions. Cockatoo Birdman Bill said, okay, so I wanted to answer his question. He was having some questions on my butchering tools and chasing tools and jargon there, the technical jargon. So I wanted to take and explain what that is. So a butcher tool is in reference to what the tool does. It cuts into the material and it has one leading edge in chasing tools. They're all considered chasing tools. That's a blanket statement. They're meant to chase or to take and give detail or chiseled features to a piece of steel that you're working on, to a design, okay, to refine a design. So butcher tools are tools that have a single edge and one bank away. So like what we're doing with the convexed butcher tool currently. That's what I just forged today. That's the, well, I didn't forge it today, but you know, the video released today on that. There's convex, there's concave, there's a whole host, and we'll be getting into those in future videos as well. But those are all butcher tools. A fuller or a fullering tool can still be under the same guise as used for chasing work, and it can be half round fullers, it can be, you know, quarter round fullers, it can be convexed fullers, concaved fullers. There's all sorts of fullers that you can take and use, but the fullering is the tool itself. Chasing is what it does. So hopefully that clears that up a little bit. And if I get that 100%. If you read that loud and clear, then hopefully that'll work out very well. So hopefully that somebody said he said it wrong.
Yeah, Bo Kurtz. I believe that's how it's
Bo
pronounced.
Kurtz.
Yeah.
I said it wrong. Sorry.
Dustin Dixon says, "Stop just sitting here watching some old cartoons."
Hey, we're not cartoons. Oh, what's up, Dustin Dixon? Good to have you in the house. Oh.
Charles Turner says, "Do you offer classes if I was in the area?"
So that is something that we hope to do. I need to take and talk it over with my landlords first. What I'm thinking about offering, if I get the approval, it'll be one-on-one forging classes, and they'll be in 4-hour sessions or increments. That's part of a new website launch that we're doing here, that Jessica's working on, and that'll be coming out, probably in a month or so? Yeah. So keep checking back with us there. I got Fuller on pizza the other day. Yum. Bunch of hams there. Bunch of jokers. So, all right.
So let's see. I have a question for you guys. What are you doing this Memorial Day? Did you are you spending some time with the family, or just taking some time to relax, or what are you up to?
Get some burgers. What'd you do? Comment below. We were working today. A couple of days ago on Wednesday, we took the day off and we took the kids to the aquarium, and we just like taking odd days off. That's like avoid the big rushes of people doing things. But we've been working today. I talked to a lady the other day at the grocery store. We went out to the grocery store. I was going to ask her how Memorial Day weekend was going. And then I realized, well, I'm at a grocery store and she's checking me out. So, at the checkout counter. So it was like, so probably not so well for her. She has to be at work on, during the weekend. She had to be at work. But that kind of got me thinking. We were chatting a little bit, and I talked about how I run my own business and this and that. And she's like, oh, yeah, that must be nice. That's something that I need to do. That way I can take off whenever. And I said, I like to tell people I get to choose which 12 hours of the day I'd like to work. So I can work the first half of the day, or I can work the second half of the day. But either way, I get to work about 12 hours a day. And sometimes more. But,
yes. There's very few days where we don't do any business, anything really
at
all.
Very, very few at all. All right. What do we got here? What do they say? Let's see here.
Let's see. Bruce Smith says making knives. Dustin Dixon says kicking back, and I had to move the wood pile and chopping block. Corey Shire says, Jessica, not a business question. I'm just curious if you can use copper utensils to cook with, like the one on the shelf behind Roy. Yes.
Most definitely.
The stuff, a caution I guess people would say about using copper when cooking is mostly the pan. If you're like cooking if you had a copper skillet that wasn't coated and you were cooking food in it, they say
unless it's a jelly or a jam or a non-acidic. If it's an alkali, you're fine. If it's an acidic, it breaks down the copper, a small thin layer of the copper oxide, and then that can cause you not only the penny taste, that kind of that coppery, like if you ever licked a penny, that taste that gets in your mouth, it'll put that into your food and it'll give you a pretty severe bellyache. And then if you keep it up, it can actually lead to poisoning you and getting you very sick. So
should I go grab my copper utensils and show them? The ones I use all the time out of the kitchen?
They're hideous.
Well, I know you made them a long time ago, but
no.
Okay, fine. Well, I do have
a set. Not this time around. We'll do a video on that.
Okay. Well, I have a set I use all the time, and it's my favorite set. Roy's made me a steel set, but I like my original set probably the best. But it's got a steel handle and it's got a copper head on it, and Roy had to actually repair one of the rivets. It was getting kind of loose and wiggling, but he fixed it up for me.
So copper, if you think about a copper serving utensil, technically, you're not just letting it sit in the pot and cook in with the rest of your meats or your stew or whatever it is that you're doing. You're using it towards the end, more towards meal service. except with a spatula. I mean, you are scraping food and stuff like that and turning food over. But again, it doesn't get hot enough at that point.
Yeah, it's not
to really,
hot.
it's not getting hot.
In contact with the food too.
And staying hot in contact with that food. So, yeah, it should be perfectly safe to use as well. And
Yeah,
it's really cool to see everybody's comments, what they've been doing this Memorial Day weekend. That's awesome.
Yeah, and again, like the copper isn't coated with anything. Like it doesn't have paint or anything on it. It's just raw copper.
Energy said, I swallowed a penny when I was 8 years old. Thought I was going to die. My mother said all things will pass. LOL.
That's funny.
I guess it did pass. You're still here with us to this day.
You didn't
That's
have your
good.
stomach pumped, huh?
Oh.
Justin Wells says, here's a question for you. I am about 2 weeks out from having a belt grinder, and I know that my knives will be a lot better once I have the grinder. Should I wait till it's finished to make any more blades?
Nope.
No, just
nope.
forge some out, or
I wouldn't care if I had back to my fireplace in my living room, my Harbor Freight anvil, and Harbor Freight hammer sitting and welling on coat hangers. I love forging that much that I'm not going to wait for anything to prevent me from doing forging. So when it comes down to the belt grinder and stuff, you should take and go ahead and forge. If you're waiting for it to come in, you should forge and rough out as many blanks as you can, knife shaped objects as you can, and then once it gets there, then you can actually give it a good break in and get that grinder to full use. Plus, you'll be a heck of a lot closer then to having a bunch of blades you could put in your store.
Yeah.
Which is a plus.
Graham, we missed you too, buddy. It took us a long time to get it all figured out. I spent hours upon hours testing the streaming equipment.
Good to have you here, Graham. We missed you too.
Cockatoo Birdman Bill says, copper bowl to beat egg whites. Yeah. I've had trouble beating egg whites before in just a steel bowl, and I don't actually have a big copper bowl like that for beating it with. But what I did is I took my copper utensil and I put it in the egg whites for 5 minutes and then took it out, and then I was able to beat them just fine. So that was funny way I got that to work out.
You're welcome, Justin Wells. I'm glad that helped you.
See up here. Charles Turner, you use 1 by 1/4 inch flat bar for tongs, right? I drew out the reins and left 2 inches of full size stock at the end. My jaws were too short at the desired thickness. Should I have left 3 inch?
Let's see. So you left 2 inches at the end. Jaws were too short at the desired thickness. Should I have left 3 inches? Yeah, you could have probably leave a little bit extra. Remember, whenever you're doing that, you can always trim off. So if you get too much, it's always better to overshoot than undershoot. If you overshoot too much, then you're working with a lot more material than what's needed, and you can kind of eyeball that to start with. But I would overshoot rather than undershoot on things like that, especially after you've gotten all the reins drawn out and stuff like that, to find out that the jaws won't be the length that you want them. Because then you went through all the hammer work to draw out the reins, and then you end up with, you just end up with the problems when it comes to that. A useless pair of tongs. They're not useless, you can still use them, they just won't be for the intended purpose like you had originally intended. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe an answer on that.
Ed Gray Wolf says, is this going to be regular?
We hope so.
Yes. We do our live streams, or our normal schedule before our live stream problems had been Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we have our business live streams, and then Friday at 7 p.m. as well, we have a
Eastern
forging
time.
Eastern Time. We have a Forging Friday live stream as well out in the shop. So just saw you all were on. Yeah, good. That means you got a notification.
That means you got a notification. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got 30 in here, which I'm surprised.
Awesome.
That's
Thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you.
Pretty close to our regular attendance for this live stream for it being a holiday too.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
We appreciate you all joining us this evening. So we're not going to go as long this evening. We're only going to go for about an hour. So if you have any business questions for us, go ahead and drop them in the chat. That's what we're here for tonight. I'm going to try to keep it more centric around business related questions. If you have something that you want to know about our business, about anything like that, your own business, those sort of things, I'm trying to keep this live stream specifically for that and for the people that have those type questions. And then Friday night live streams, that's all forging. That's all forging and answering questions. Anything blacksmithing, technical questions, this, that, and I answer those on the fly. Usually while forge welding or doing something else. So
you keep it all together too.
I keep it all together, surprisingly.
New Life Survival, just wanted to say hello. I'm a new subscriber. Nice to have you.
Awesome, New Life Survival. Glad to have you. Thank you for being part of the channel.
Yeah, if anybody else is new, let us know down in the comments below. It takes a little while for us to get used to everybody's usernames, and I guess with 21,000 people, we won't remember everybody. But I mean, when we see you commenting a lot, we recognize you. Yeah. So Paul Harley said, "How did you get your business started?" I'll let Jessica answer this one. Okay, sure. This goes way back. Kind of the very root of how we started selling online, and originally I found a coal forge for Roy at a garage sale, but then he just did that as a hobby for about a year. And during that year, while he was starting to blacksmith, I actually took interest in eBay. And I did this because Roy was working full-time at HVAC and I was staying at home and I had nothing to do. And so I spent a lot of time at the library, and I just happened across this book that was one of the ones they had featured out at the end of the aisle or whatever. And it was talking about selling on eBay. So I picked it up, I started reading it. I gathered up some stuff around the house that was okay, I don't need this, I can sell it. And I told Roy, I'm gonna try selling this stuff on eBay.
And I was like, that's a scam. I didn't know very much back then about internet or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
I didn't say you were on a computer much at all.
I hadn't been on at that point. I hadn't been on a computer since I was in grade school, and that's back when they had black screens and just green lettering. You got one choice: green lettering, dots and dashes.
This is back before smartphones were popular. It's making us sound older, but sheesh. It's we had flip phones. I still got them in the cabinet. But anywho.
Okay, let's not tell on ourselves too much with that.
Roy's gonna be
reminisce.
Yeah, okay, we won't say. Anyhow, we got started on eBay, and that was the start. And I got Roy to make a few items to sell on eBay.
And that was pretty much grew from there.
That was the very beginning.
Yep. I want to acknowledge, we're going to get a few other people's questions. I just want to acknowledge Graham Pepper real quick. Thank you for the $10 super chat, and we'll answer that question, but I want everybody to give him a hand clap in the comment section for support and channel. We greatly appreciate that super chat. So he said, can I change the title of my tulip candle holders, or is it just set and unchangeable? I think he's referring to Etsy.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, once you make a listing, you can edit anything of the information that's there. You just go into where you normally go, where it shows all your listings. There's a little drop down button, and you just press edit listing, and you can edit the title or the description or your photographs. So if you want to update your photographs, you can do all of that there. So and if that's not what you meant, just let us know again, and we can clarify on your question.
Yeah. So go up a little bit. I want to see that there. All right, that's good. All right, you can go back to OBS.
Okay.
That way we can see that. You recommend for blade making. Why don't you read, please?
Okay, sure. Ed Gray Wolf says, what do you recommend for blade making and making small stuff to sell? I know you have a couple of PDFs. Yes, we have.
So recommend for blade making and making small stuff to sell. I know you have a couple of PDFs. I'm assuming Ed Gray Wolf, you're asking about the power hammer plans?
No, he's asking about small things to start selling.
Oh, small things to start selling. Anything from herb choppers to hooks of any kind. Hooks are a utilitarian item that everybody can use. You can throw a lot of different spin-offs on one design hook. You can set yourself up with jigs and stuff to make hooks quicker. and things like that, which I've got videos all on the channel about that as well. You know, herb choppers, little neck knives, those are very popular, very popular, like little neck knives. If you can get a hold of some date nails out of the, like, you know, railroad spike, they're like little miniature spikes that are like date nails. Those are a popular thing, and they're kind of a collector's item. Obviously, railroad spike knives, they sell well, although they're not, you know, they're more of a kind of a collector's thing just to put on the shelf, other than a good usable knife. But, you know, people like that, tend to like that quite a bit if you're just getting started. And that would be my advice on that. Yeah.
And yeah, like you mentioned, we do have the blacksmith cheat sheet now available too. It's been available for about a month now, and it does have, it's got 50 projects in there, and the variations and the pricing. So definitely check that out. We have some reviews now of that on our website, so I mean, feel free to read those as well. People have left their, you know, their input, what they thought about it, and it's been good to start seeing those reviews come in. So
next question was Charles Turner.
Is it worth forging at flea markets to advertise my products?
Yes, it would be. So basically, it depends on what type of products. If you're looking for higher end of the market space when it comes to forge work, if your skills are there, flea market's not going to be your thing. You definitely don't want to do flea markets, as you know, there is a lower income stream that comes through flea markets. You're going to get more of the people that are kind of like the weekenders, maybe got $20 in cash to spend. Definitely not, usually not over $50 at a flea market, most people. And, you know, at your average flea market, if you will, at least around our parts, you can't get a whole lot of cash in that way. But if you're forging and you're demonstrating at that flea market, you are, in effect, your entertainment. And that is a great way of getting people to draw right to you and get them to pull right in on you. And the more they stand there, the more items they're going to buy from you. So definitely yes on that. What else?
John Lavender says, today's 3 minutes at 3 was very helpful. Even if you are not running a business, a worksheet is very helpful to help you keep track of things. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yes it is. I am a list person. I enjoy lists, and it helps you keep things straight too, when you can organize it. Donald Roberts, is it wrong to sell someone else's work for profit? I don't take credit for the work, but I sell it for more than they ask. No, nothing's wrong with that. I mean, if you're giving them credit, basically what you're doing is you're taking a commission for selling it for them, is kind of one way of looking at it.
Now let me be a little frank with that. If you agreed upon a price prior with that person, that maker, whoever it is, say you were going to sell the item for 50, but then you marked it up at 75, that's a no-go. You don't want to do that, because that's a good way of tarnishing your business relationship. But if they know that you've marked the price up, or that you're selling it for, say, $75 or something like that, if that's what you're going for there, then I think that's perfectly all right. Again, you know, like I said, they can say, well, wait a minute, you sold this item for $100 and I was asking $50, right? And now you're getting a 50% commission, and they may not be okay with that. So that's something that you need to clarify with whoever you're getting their items from to sell. But basically, if you have the exposure and you have the market space, you need to be able to take and make yourself an income for doing the listing and doing all the SEO stuff and getting the sales for them, and the time and your getting them the traffic that they need in order to continue as a business. And so that just needs to be worked out on the forefront. And if you can do that, you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Susan Ellis says, your business story is encouraging. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad it encourages people. That's why we like to share it. You know, you can start small. You can start, I mean, we started with eBay, and it wasn't even anything about blacksmithing at first, and it slowly rolled into that. And then, you know, we definitely had a big change of life moment when I had my car wreck, and it was, oh, I'm just a blacksmith now. So it was a very sharp change that put a lot of faith out there. Had a lot of prayer. Huh?
Yeah, sure did.
A lot of prayer. So,
Alex Knight says, "Are you guys going to make any Damascus stuff?"
If I do anything on Damascus, Alex Knight, it'll be something that I am more comfortable with. It will not be blade or weapon oriented, as that is not my thing. So most likely it'll be something ornamental or organic. There's a couple flowers I have in mind and some different stuff. Don't want to release too much yet. That way you can't hold me to it, you know, and then no one can beat me to it either.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll just have to see how everybody comes up with what they come up with. So.
New Life Survival says, "I just made my first knife out of a file. I've been enjoying your how-to videos. I don't have a forge, that's why I use the hard files. What are your thoughts on file knives?"
So I'm not a knife guy, so I'm not a big knife guy. My thought on file knives, I imagine they're just as good as any other type of knife out there, although they are fairly brittle, or can be brittle. They're hard as snot, so you know, keep that in mind when you're designing it around something. I mean, I don't think I'd make something that's a brush chopper or something like that with it, something that needed to take impact. I think it's the wrong type of steel for that. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So I would think that would be my advice on that. You know, a lot of times, you know, stuff like you'll see guys make like big Bowie knives out of like Farrier rasps and stuff like that. Farrier rasps are not the same as a mill file. They're completely different steels. They are not the same hardness. You know, a Farrier's rasp is meant to cut hooves, and so therefore they could get away with a much, if you will, a lower quality steel. Say a steel that doesn't have to get as hard as, say, like a mill file. Mill files, they can get, you know, they're pretty darn hard up there. Up in the 60s as far as Rockwell is concerned. But don't want to get too much into that. One of the other things I will say about files, though, you be careful of the files that you use, because some of the files that are coming in from like India and some of these other places that they're coming in from, some of the third world countries, some of the files that are coming in, they're case hardened. And that's not just, you know, again, it's a lower grade material or lower grade steel, and then, you know, they case harden it. So that's something to keep in mind. Yep.
Okay.
So what you up to here?
Yeah.
Since I can't see
I didn't.
what we're doing here.
I didn't change it over just yet. I was trying to get up to the area where I could show this. I was gonna.
She's up to something.
I
here,
am.
So.
I was up to. I had to sign in because this is not normally the browser I use for our Etsy page, but I was gonna pull it up for Graham and just show everybody how, if you want to change something on your listing, you can. So
okay.
I went to the wrong area. To start with, you'll want to go under the shop manager and go to listings. And let me making sure I'm not showing our customers' names or anything like that. But
make sure you don't run the CPU too high while you're doing this too.
No, we're doing good. We're still at 70%.
Okay. Good.
I'll come back to that in a second. I think it's still loading. So.
Okay.
Paul Harley says, "I'm also a new subscriber. Just started blacksmithing. Find your videos very helpful."
Cool. God, that one was way up, by the way. Anybody who's keeping up with the chat here.
Yep. Jim Bob the Impaler, "I've been inspired to use a lot more copper and brass in the artwork I do."
Oh, cool. Glad that's inspired you. Yeah, copper and brass is a fun thing. It's definitely a fun thing. So now let's properly segue over.
Okay.
So they can see what we're doing here.
We are going to scene 2.
We're going to scene 2. Here you go.
Yes.
Well.
So to answer, anybody who has an Etsy page or is considering doing Etsy, you'll find this helpful. Under the listings here, you see this little gear icon, and it says manage this listing. And so you can go down to edit, and that'll allow you to edit the listing. And I also want to point out something else here. You can also copy a listing. So if you are selling 2 similar items, let's say you're selling, so this one's a tulip, let's say you're selling a small one, and then you want to sell a large one as well, you can copy the listing, and it'll copy everything, including the photographs, although I'd recommend changing the photographs. But it saves you some time on being able to, instead of having to make your listing from scratch. But I went ahead and clicked on edit, and you'll see here they allow you to add up to 10 photographs. To edit any of these, you know, you just go in here and you start making the changes, whether it's adding a photograph or, you know, your title. Like they allow you, I still have 10 characters left. You can see the little 10 right there. So I could have added more. Like if I wanted to get rid of Roy Adams, I could just take that out of there. That way I can show you what about saving a change. And then, you know, anything else you want to change in there. Your listing, you know, you can update that in the description as well too. But once you're done, you can go to preview, and then it'll allow you to see the listing. You can see the photographs. Let me go up a little bit for you. So there you can see the title. They took out the words Roy Adams out of that. And then when you're ready to save, you just press publish, and that will publish your new version of it. And it gives you a little update there that your listing has been updated. So just so you know, that is how you edit listings.
Yeah. So hopefully you found that helpful. And hopefully we're still streaming. Makes me nervous as all heck.
Well, yeah, you just gotta hope it's doing what it's supposed to.
All right, what did he say?
All right, he said I was trying to change the top rather than down there. Trying to change the top. Not sure what you mean quite by that, Graham.
Yeah, you'll have to clarify just a little bit more there, Graham, for us, and we'll see if we can help you out. So,
Manga 12, was there no Friday live stream?
Nope, there was not. We ended up having, well, we didn't have this fully figured out yet. We had a thought on it, but we weren't able to properly test it, so we didn't do a Friday night live stream like we normally would have done. So it got late, it was hot in the shop all day, and it was like, you know what, we're just not even going to go for it. We didn't get it done in time, you know, and have the testing done. So, but hopefully right now, so far, everything's been going well. Hopefully the stream and the feed's coming in good, audio's still coming in good, so that's good.
Really strong. I'm here now. Build a fence. No forging of all bits wood. LOL.
Hey, that's all right. You're still productive. Awesome. Oh. Hey, Jonathan. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, cuz. Glad you're in there. So, hopefully you're getting them games, sir.
Yeah. Susan Ellis. How long did it take you to get a good grasp on the various selling sites, Etsy, eBay, etc.? That's a good question. That's
about 4 to 6 months each,
yeah,
I would say.
I'd probably say so.
To get a good grasp on them. To be expert level at them, you probably need to be on them for a couple of years. I would say, you know, a good year or two to say and keep up with all their updates and changes, because they do update fairly regularly, you know, stuff, and they change buttons and where stuff goes. So some of that you might want to work on. You know, that to have a full understanding and grasp. But
yeah, one thing I recommend to somebody just starting off an online store is try to get your 10 sales as quickly as possible. Whether that's, you know, getting your friends and family to buy from you, or, you know, doing reduced prices on some of your items. And I only recommend this for the first 10 items because, you know, you want to get that feedback as much as possible so that people can know you're a trustworthy seller. Because starting out with 0 feedback in your shop, you know, people may come across your shop and be like, well, you know, they've got some nice items, but I don't know if I can trust that they'll actually get my item to me or if they're legitimate. So I do recommend that. And that does help the selling process. That's what I did on eBay. You know, additionally on eBay, I actually took, there at my local library, I had some actual eBay certified classes I was able to take. And the funny thing is, when I took most of those classes, I knew as much as the instructor did, just because I like learning, I like reading and figuring things out. And so, but I did take those, trying to learn as much as I could as well.
Yep.
So.
She even got a job offer.
I did.
Which she declined.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's hear. Red Shadow Forge. Are you guys going to do the Q&A often? Yes, this is our regular scheduled programming every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we do our forging side of things, every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So,
Yes.
yep.
Yeah, the forging live stream, we're gonna do one tonight. We're gonna do a business review for Etsy store and kind of point out where he's doing well, and if there's any areas we find that he needs improvement, which we may not, because he's doing such a good job on his store.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. For the Honor Forge is doing a wonderful job. So. Yeah, Manga 12. Yeah, it was a hot day in the shop today, buddy. It was one hot day in the shop today. But we're inside, so inside where it's cool right now. That's why we're doing this stream. Friday, come sweat or a high water or heat stroke. Friday night, it's my plan on being out there taking and doing a live forging stream and finishing up that wrought iron hammer with steel face. Welded in, so. Yep.
Graham says, I'm only still selling hooks. Sold another forged large nail hooks yesterday. Good.
Awesome.
That's good.
That's good.
One thing I recommend for you, Graham, or for anybody else who's selling on Etsy, you don't necessarily have to have the items in stock. If you've taken photographs, which I encourage everybody to do all along the way, of no matter where they are at, whether they're selling or not, to at least take photographs of your items so you have a portfolio, is that you can make items made to order so long as you have your photographs from doing that.
Yeah. What is it? Donna, how hard is it to work with galvanized steel? Donna Roberts, mainly I don't work with galvanized. I just try to stray away from it as far as I can. I know you can work with it, but you do have to be very well ventilated and special respirators and things like that. So I highly advise to stray away from that altogether. If that's all you have, say you have like a fence post pipe that you want to forge into something else, right? Like a vase or something. Go throw it in a campfire somewhere or the next bonfire you have, and then walk away. Don't be there roasting marshmallows next to it. Let it burn all that crud off without you being there. One of the safest ways is actually to eat all the galvanized off with acid. You can do that with muriatic acid, and just put it in a tub or a pipe with that, and that's the safest way to take and do it. Obviously, you have to neutralize it and things like that. So,
Manga 12 asks, how much water do you drink while forging in this kind of heat?
A bunch. I drink a bunch. Actually, I just shot a video today of how to handle the heat in the shop. But I have one of those big got coolers. It's no joke. It's probably this big around, about that tall, and I go through about.
I would say.
I go through about one of those every 4 hours. So, yeah, one full one.
Manga says, I've heard a guy in a drop forge will drink 2 gallons of water in a shift and not have to pee once due to the amount of water they lose in sweat.
Yeah, basically. I can drink, I think it's a gallon and a half. I think it's a gallon and a half jug is what I have. And I can drink that in about 4 hours, and no, you don't have to pee either. It's that much sweat. That's what I did today. It was quite spicy.
Yeah, it's definitely at least 90 here today. So, yeah. Well, maybe I should take a moment and pull up the blacksmith cheat sheet.
Yeah, you want to segue real quick?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so we're going to segue into the blacksmith cheat sheet. This is, a lot of people are asking about the smaller items. This is an ebook that Jessica created. Yeah. And it is, I'll let you tell about it. So.
Yeah, sure. So where you'll find this is blacksmithpdfs.com, and this is like our homepage for blacksmithing here, where we have all of our downloads. And it is the second row down. And I did want to point out, which we haven't mentioned this a whole lot lately, but some people had asked about the All Plans bundle. It is included on the All Plans bundle as well, which is pretty much all of our tooling plus the cheat sheet on there, which is like $175 value, somewhere around there for $100. And we actually put it on a CD-ROM and ship it to you, which can save a bit of headache from having to download,
so many files.
If you're buying a bunch of If you're buying a bunch of our plans, it's simpler to actually have it on a disc for you.
Yep.
But the blacksmith cheat sheet is the second row down, and it's a digital file. It's about 30 pages long. It has 50 different items in it. It's not a how-to. It's not a tutorial, but it is information. So I did the research to find out the pricing like a pricing range for each of the items. It's based on Etsy's prices and like what the standard is there. And I also have the keywords, so that if you're selling online, it saves you all the time trying to research and trying to figure out which keywords will help get your items found. And then additionally, I have the variations on it. So perhaps, like you say, Royce mentioned, you're making a hook. Well, there's like 20 other types of hooks, and I don't go that far in depth on hooks per se, but I do mention several variations on each of the item involved, so that if you were trying to think of, you could take one type of item and be able to make multiple of similar types of item to put in your store, and it puts a broader net out there for customers to find you in that way. Yeah,
in the main nugget of information there that I found the most helpful with the book, and this just because, from my experience with everything I've made in the past, the biggest thing that I found helpful with it, and this is, that I was really excited about that we were offering, is all the SEO part. All the tags that go into that, because that's really what helps boost your listing in front of as many eyeballs as possible. The wider the net that you cast and the proper net for the type of fish that you're trying to, pull in is so crucial if you're going to be doing this as a business and you want to take and draw in more and more people into your store in order to take and get those sales. So a really good book on that.
Yeah, which upon Roy's suggestion, I had actually included the second part of the download is actually a Word document where you can copy and paste the keywords if you wish to for each item. So just
so
it takes it
takes the work away. So all right, sage your way back in. Hey?
Yes.
See if they're still there.
So this is the closest thing to a Segway emoji. It's a scooter with an arrow.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking forever in the Friday night live streams that they need to change the little wrench to a hammer for blacksmiths instead. That way we could say, throw down the band hammer whenever we get a troll in there. So instead of throw down the wrench, it doesn't work. So yeah.
Ben Toombs, glad to have you.
Yep.
Well,
what else they say? Sorry I'm late. Yeah, hey, Ben Toombs, good to have you. Yep, sorry. My brain's operating a little slower today.
Is it?
Yep, operating just a little
bit
slower.
Of a lag.
So. Yeah, well, we're about 45 minutes in. I think this is pretty good. Does anybody have any more business questions directly for us that we've missed? Maybe we've missed yours in the comment section?
Yeah.
Go ahead and drop them down.
Yeah, let us know, and then we'll get into the...
Ronan Ironworks, hello. Good to have you here. And if no one has any business questions for us here directly, we will take... It's a nice bottle, Jess. Yeah.
It's shiny blue.
It is.
And it was a freebie.
This doesn't say Advocare on it, but it's still a nice bottle there, John. So, anyways... So I guess we could go over to For the Honor Forge. So we asked For the Honor Forge, and I'm not sure he's in the stream tonight. I don't think he is. We asked him if we could take and do a channel review of his channel, because he has done a lot of really good things on his channel, or not on his channel, but on his business, his Etsy business. And just wanted to give you guys some encouragement, because this is where it goes right. And, you guys can, it's just another example of someone who's having good sales on Etsy as a platform, and that's making it as a small business. And him and his wife are a power couple, just like we are, and they're doing awesome. So,
yeah, they are. Yeah. Let's see. He is from California, and he started his store in 2015, which was about 3 years ago.
Yep.
So I do.
His name's Stephen Marks, by the way.
And I do want to say I like the banner. Not everybody takes advantage of the banner area up there, so that is pretty cool. Kind of gives a little bit of a feel to your shop when people are coming into there.
So let me pause you on this one for a second. So this is where I was saying a few live streams ago on Business Q&As that it is important, it's incredibly important to set the ambiance. It's to set the scene, okay, to develop ambiance in your shop. Even though it's an online page, to develop what it is that you're about, to kind of set that mood, set that tone.
Right.
And that's important all the way throughout the whole process, from them looking at your shop to them buying the item, through their checkout process, through you shipping the item, when they receive the item. All that has to be on point, and you'll develop a customer for life that way. Yeah, but go ahead.
Definitely. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, and a lot of what we talked about was photographs, right? When we were talking about the ambiance. And one thing that I love about Steven's page is that he did a really fantastic job with his photographs and like tying it in really well. So like, you know, you see a lot of his pieces here that he's got this wooden background, and even in the ones where he's like standing, you know, like, I'm not sure what this is, some sort of bamboo fence behind him or something, but you know, it's wood too, and so it all ties in rather nicely. And Steven, I did notice that you have more forged items this time around, so you've been busy adding some new stuff to your shop here.
Good job, Steven. No.
Yeah, he's got a bearded tomahawk right there.
Now, one of the things I'd like to point out that I've noticed right off the bat with your photos, so although they be good, I can tell that there has been, or at least that it appears that there's been a little bit of photoshopping to them, just a bit. You've kept it to a minimum, but it's a good point to point this out, that say if the color isn't exact on an item, you want to make sure that you put that in the listing. So if I go over here, if I go up here, this is where I kind of noticed it the most. You have to make sure that something like that book there is the actual color they're going to be getting. Otherwise, that can end up giving you some headache if you like enhance your photos in any way, shape, or form. And so you want to make sure that they're getting an accurate portrayal of what the product is. We've done this a little bit on some of our items where the camera just really didn't bring out the colors, so we kind of boosted the colors a little bit to get them back to where they were visibly. Just as a word of caution for anybody, do not alter your photos too much from what the actual product is. Get good lighting, get good setup like what he's got right here. That's a perfect backdrop. Like, it's a great angle, it's in focus, all that good stuff. Make sure that that's all on point. And then if you need to color correct it just a little bit, you can do that, but make sure you don't oversaturate it, or you go overboard with that. Because we only ever had one problem where somebody came back on us because it wasn't exactly like what was in the photo. When it came, it was one of the copper bowls, and it was because Jessica had done a little bit of doctoring to it to try to get it to represent what was on the shelf. Well, later on, I forged. The colors came out really flat, so she wanted to make them pop a little bit better. That ended up biting us in the keister, so that's one thing to look out for.
Although they didn't return the item, but they did ask. They asked, was this photoshopped? And
they did ask. So that did kind of come back and bite us a little bit in the keister. So just word of caution. But other than that, the photos are amazing. He does a great job on them.
So since I went ahead and pulled this listing up, we'll just go ahead and look over it more thoroughly. So leather notebook / journal for medieval reenactors, costumes, cosplay, and simply for practicality. I like that. So I noticed you have the primary color you did as in the picture or custom. One thing you might want to do is actually give them, like, maybe do some little samples. Like, it doesn't even have to be a whole notebook, but if you could take the same type of leather you're using and color it a few different ways, and then just have like a picture of the assortment of them, like whether it's red or green.
And you could do that in these pictures down here, along the bottom here. You could do that.
Add an extra photograph.
You could just add an extra photograph of each type as you sell one, and do that. That'd be a great way.
I like this. I just chuckled. I saw this just now. Materials: leather, dye, stitching thread, honor, courage, commitment, dream fulfillment, paper, wax, and mink oil. That's pretty cool.
I love
you're
that.
Like, wait a minute, what?
That's a great take on that.
That is. That's really
like,
cool.
Wait a minute, courage.
Courage went into this. And again, like, you know, you can have some, make sure you can, like, be expressive and let your personality come out in your listing, you know, because the people most likely aren't going to get to meet you in person. So, that's a neat way of doing it. So I'm going to read his description here. This notebook is handcrafted and made of real leather. A simple leather strap helps keep the notebook closed. The edges of the paper have been burned to give it an adventurous look and theme. Unburned paper also available, which is cool. You can add multiple variations, which will show up over here by the color. So you could always put that in there, the paper type, you know, burned or unburned, so they can just, it makes it easy for them to select it without having to contact you necessarily. The page count, 108 or 54 double-sided pages. Good, it's good you clarified. Customized page count is available. Dimensions, 9 inches tall, 7 inches wide, 1/2 inch thick. Yeah, if you have online listings, you want to specify the measurements because they can't always tell from the photographs how big the item is, and it just prevents issues with customers.
And this isn't eBay where, you know, you put a Coke can next to it. So this way people can see.
Yeah, here's a Coke can, here's the penny.
Here's a Coke can, here's a penny, here's a quarter, so you can get a rough estimate, you know, that actually put the work into it to put in measurements.
Yeah. Yep. So then you wrap it up with coloring options are available. Please contact me for customized decor and features. Paper refills available. Writing utensils not included. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good description. It might be a little short. Maybe there's another paragraph you could add in there, perhaps about the hand stitching, or you know, if there's a special process that goes into making it, or even like if it's a special type of paper, like rice paper, or you know, whatever kind of paper it is, like it's just
Rose
let them know
paper,
it's the thicker paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go back here.
Okay. And by the way, if you are chatting or asking questions, we'll get to those after we get back from this. We can't see your chats when she has this pulled up, so makes me nervous, but
yeah, I could minimize it if you want me to.
It's all right.
Okay.
We don't want to tax the CPU too hard tonight. So
okay, all right.
Don't press our luck.
I really like that photograph right there, the bearded tomahawk, just because, yeah, the subject is in the foreground and the background is like, you know, it's got that blurred look, which is really great.
So yeah, the blurred look, by the way, for those who are not in the know, is called bokeh. Or it is essentially, it's that fuzzy background where it really highlights or causes the item to pop. You know, Jessica's done some videos on taking better pictures and taking better photos and stuff, and we could probably revamp those videos a little bit to talk a little bit more about the bokeh and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I believe that's down in the description as well. 5 tips for taking good photographs. So let's see. For the Honor Forge has 27 items, which is good. And like I see, you guys will probably notice some of this here. Like some of this, it kind of looks like some of the items are repetitive, but there's a reason for that. And that is, you know, each one is a little different. So like the bows he does, the PVC bows, he does those in not only different colors, but perhaps different stylings, and different sizes, you know, for men and women, like small and large. And although you can do a variation within a listing where they just select small, medium, or large, you're actually going to get more exposure by having the multiple listings. And that way, when somebody types in, you know, PVC bow or recurve bow or whatever the keywords they use to find it, instead of just seeing one picture of your item in the listing box show up among all the other searches, that they'll be able to see these reoccurring, like since the photographs all have a similar theme, they'll know that this is all from the same seller, and kind of see that, okay, the seller gets a lot of exposure in this way.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And let's see. I'm also going to take and show you up here how you can look at feedback. So there's like a star rating up here, and he's got 66 feedback on this. And feedback is whenever the person who's purchasing from you leaves a like a rating for you, and they like also say whether or not they enjoyed the item. So they put it down here a little bit, but let's see, looks amazing, perfect for my Snake Eyes cosplay. And it looks like all of your stuff is 5-star feedback, which is awesome to get such a good rating on that. But let's see, we also have a PVC ninja sword and scabbard. And well-made and thoughtful packaging, as well as amazing customer service. Steven is thoughtful and cares for his customers. When ordering the bow, he messaged me personally to make sure I purchased the one that was right for me, and I ended up changing my order. He answered all of my questions and was very helpful. I'm very pleased with the bow and it is perfect for my cosplay. Highly recommended. So Stephen, that's a great example of fantastic customer service, that your customer even went out of the way to leave you such good feedback, and that you were willing to work with them and make sure they were getting the right item for them. That just guarantees even more so that you're going to get the high feedback. I'll also show you guys something else. If this feature is enabled, up on the Etsy store, you can click on how many sales they've had, and it will show you what items in their shop have been selling. So it's nice to look at this sometimes, because you can see if you're looking at somebody else's store, or you're looking for items that sell good, you can look for items that are repeatedly selling, and do your own variation, or take an element from that and incorporate it into your own work. But the PVC bows do really well in his shop, and the daggers, it looks like you're selling quite a few of those too. And let's see, there's a hook that you sold, a blade, let's see, a steel utility knife, and you sold another one of those. So since you've sold a couple of those, then you might actually consider doing a few variations on that, and that will help you get additional sales for those, maybe a small, medium, and large, or do a couple with different variations in the handle, maybe some twist or something like that. You could perhaps even offer customization, where you stamp words and names on the knife handle itself. That might make a nice touch. So I think I will go ahead and pop back over to the chat, you guys, and see what's going on there, since it's been like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, let's see, we still got 28 of you in here. Corey Shire says, I checked out his website and he has great presentation. Awesome. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've been to his website. I believe it's been about a year, and he was one of the people that I did, I included on my Etsy help video. Jonathan, it's good you stopped by. Hope you have a great Memorial Day, what's left of it. Let's see, Donald Roberts did some...
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Donald Roberts says, did some work for family last week and never got paid. Has that ever happened to you guys? Put in a 16-foot handrail.
Sierra, did some work for family last week and never got paid. Has that ever happened to you guys? Put in a 16-foot handrail. Yeah, only a few times. Only about twice. I allowed that to happen. So, if you have that, basically, you just need to go and hit them up for it and say, hey, look, I installed this, and unless you want me to repo it, you need to pay me. It's a tough thing when it's family, but you know what? They're not really good family if they're going to leave you strung out to dry like that. So there may not be a relationship worth retaining. It'd be the same way of, how would they feel if, say, they were an auto mechanic and you said, hey, I'll pay you if you replace my engine in my vehicle, and they go out and they buy the new engine and they get all that stuff and they tear it out and they spend 12 hours working on this vehicle of yours, and then they then you stiff them with not only the bill of the engine, which is the cost of the materials, all the oils and everything else, and say, well, thanks, we're all family, and they drive away. I wouldn't be family with that guy. Don't care who it was. I don't care if it was my own mother. So that's just how it is. And Mom, if you're watching this stream, I love you, but not that much. So, it's literally on that. That's kind of par for the course. That's my way of looking at that. Now if it was supposed to be something free to begin with, then you can't really expect to charge something after it's all said and done. Once it's installed, or if you did a really cruddy job at installing it and you need to renegotiate the price, then that needs to happen too as well. The thing about mixing business with pleasure, that's always the problem. Mixing the business with the pleasure there, you can get feelings hurt pretty quick and easy when it comes down to settling up. Especially if you have one person trying to take advantage of another.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ronan Ironworks says, thanks to your videos on starting an Etsy shop, I did. I wasn't sure if my stuff was good enough, but it's been going well. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Hey,
yeah,
you're welcome.
It's Penny Brown says, hey y'all, just editing my second video, 100 sub giveaway, so I can't stay long. That's cool, Penny.
Yeah.
I did want to say, it's kind of a combination of those two comments there. I wanted to say that like just starting out on something, like you always wonder if you're doing the right thing or if you're like wasting your time and that kind of thing. And these Etsy videos I put out, which has been a year ago now, like I released them and they like, it felt like they flopped. Like they got maybe 100 or 2 views considering
there wasn't any of them that had over 200 views on them considering the size of our channel. I mean, they had like 100 views in the first like month, basically, so they pretty much flopped as far as videos are concerned. But yeah.
So when I came out with those videos, like I kind of felt like I was wasting my time, and but it turns out, you know, now that it's been a year, you know, one of them has over 10,000 views. You know, I never expected that. They kind of, some of them shot off on just from YouTube, put them in recommended in certain search, people searching for Etsy stuff. But anyway, it's just an example of if you're just getting started on something, you know, you have to have the perseverance to keep going after it. And like, you know, just because you don't see success at the beginning, you just keep working hard and being diligent and going for it, regardless of what the results look like right now. So
yeah,
that's what I just want to say.
Good advice, Jess. Good advice.
Corey Shire says, stiff me once, shame on you. Stiff me twice, I'll see you in court.
I like that, Corey Shire. That's good stuff. So, Donna Rollett said $30 for pipe in 4 bags of concrete, about $50 worth total. So it'd be $80. I've got to the point of just saying Merry Christmas. Yeah, they'd be getting coal in their stocking from me. Yeah. That's the nice Roy saying that. I was going to say something else, but then I didn't figure that was very appropriate for...
Oh, there you go. You behaved yourself.
I behaved myself. Yeah, that, you know, money... money has a way, they say money has a way of changing people, and it can be very true because with money comes responsibility. The more money you have, the more responsibility you have. You know, the less money, I mean, the more free and carefree you can be because you have nothing to lose, right? You know, if you have a bunch of money, you have a lot to lose. If you're running a business, if you're running like my shop, what my shop takes to run is completely different now than what it was when I was in my backyard shop. You know, when I was in my backyard shop, a little 6x10 shed, I had nothing but a forge, an anvil, and a hammer and time, right? And like, I just used all scrap materials. There was nothing new in my shop, and I had very basic everything, very base, starting like all of you beginners out there. And now that I have this shop, I have plasma cutters, and I have welders, and I have presses, and power hammers, and forges, and I say forges in the plural sense, and torches, and, you know, other torches, and tons of little fittings, and doodads, and tap sets, and drills, and you name it, okay? I've got all this different type stuff all packed into that shop. Well, all that takes upkeep, all that takes maintenance. And so, you know, so money, again, even though I bring in more income now than I did then, there's more responsibility with that money. It's kind of like a balance to it. And so, you know, money changes a lot of things. And when it comes between two people, like a relationship, so to speak, whether that be with your family, your wife, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, your kids, it definitely camboogles things a little bit. Yeah.
Camboogles, that's a new one.
Camboogles it. Camboogles it.
Do spring metalworks. Really though, who here would be disappointed with cola in their stockings?
Penny Brown gas user.
20M Carol 02, hello to you as well.
Hello, Carol. Good to have you here.
Ryan Hildell trying to cook on the grill while listening.
Woo-wee.
Just don't burn it.
Good luck, Ryan.
Corey Shire, as Don Corleone says, nothing personal, uncle, it's just business. Sign the sales contract.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's an interesting family and business. Family and business. It's a very interesting thing. Basically, the biggest way that you can avoid mishaps and misunderstandings and things like that is be very clear and contractual with your speaking at the very start of the project. You'll pay me XYZ dollars on such and such date, sign here. I will get paid XYZ dollars after such and such date, sign here. Initial off to it. And you do that and it kind of cuts the fluff, because then if they say, well, it's not really good, it's not, yeah, I had some stuff come up in life and this and that and what have you, although you may have a heart for that and you can make a choice, then you say, okay, well, when are you going to pay me? On such and such date. Put it right here, sign here. And you start a little thing like that, and if it's a large enough amount, that stops you from being extorted by your own family. If it's a small little piddly amount and you can afford it, just don't worry about it, but then write them off in your book as do not do work for them anymore.
It's like the black book.
Yeah, it's the little black book. Little black book of where, friends and relationships go to die when it comes to business. And you just have to scribble their name out, cross them out. But that is my biggest advice to that, is you can't tolerate it, because then you get stepped on for years and you do stuff for free and that just ends up hurting your own family that way.
20M Carol 02 says, love your videos. I have learned so much from your channel as well as Black Bear Forge.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad you've learned quite a bit. Yeah, and John Switzer over at Black Bear Forge. I almost said Tim, but it's not Tim, but Big Dog Forge.
Yeah.
Black Bear Forge, Big Dog
They're
Forge. Both those guys are great channels to subscribe to if you haven't yet. I like to watch them on the regular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're about an hour, 10 minutes in.
We're an hour and 10 minutes in. Yeah. I guess we'll wrap it up for this stream. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us on this Memorial Day. A big shout out again to all the veterans out there and active duty personnel. We greatly appreciate your service, for this country. Remember, everybody, to have a few minutes of silence at some point during your day to remember all the fallen heroes out there that didn't make it home. And, again, we greatly appreciate everybody for being here this evening.
And make sure to catch us on Friday.
Yeah.
For the Forging live stream.
Yeah, so make sure to check us out on Friday. I think we've got this all solved now.
I believe so.
So we'll be here on Friday night for the Forging live stream. And we'll be forge welding a face on our wrought iron hammer we started with. So we're doing a Scandinavian style cross peen hammer. And it's ought to be a lot of fun. Ought to be a lot of fun. So, yep, make sure everybody hits that like button on your way out of here this evening. It greatly helps out the stream. Remember, if you're getting into small business or the blacksmithing side of things, Jessica has that blacksmith cheat sheet for you. Again, and it is included in the All Plans bundle. Once again on that. And we just thank Graham Pepper for supporting this stream tonight by giving us that $10 super chat. We greatly appreciate that. And we will have to do it again on Friday. I'm excited now that we've got a good clean stream going. So, yep. Oh.
So yes, we will, Corey.
You'll be here on Friday. Yes, I will, Corey Shire. So all things hoping. We'll see. So that's good. So, all right. That'll be it. God bless you all. Thank you all for being here. Once again, we can't say it enough. We really do appreciate each and every last one of our subscribers out there. And we hope that you all have a blessed week this week. And we will see you on Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.